Assessment is an ongoing process with clients in mental health. You're continuously assessing. In fact, there's a term for that, continuous assessment. So it's never a stagnant process and it's never oh, we've got it. We're constantly seeing whether, interventions happen to be effective and for how long and for, what issues and so forth. But one of the key things we should assess with clients, and we need to make this transparent. So I would actually share this. There's a bunch of handouts online with clients is stage of change. And so whatever issues they're dealing with is helping them help us recognize where they are in wanting to make changes and respecting the fact that they don't have to. But if they're there to see you, now it could be a situation where you're doing home visits, and they may not necessarily want that. So we're always kind of negotiating with clients and working with clients to find out where they are. But stages of change is just a key feature of assessment that we need to keep in mind throughout the process. It's important to keep in mind that this is not linear, that somebody could go from action, so actually working on, making some changes, back to pre-contemplation. That somebody could go from maintenance to relapse if we're talking about addiction, and that's a part of the process. So that's not unusual, and we need to understand this as mental health professionals, that is a part of the process. So just quickly looking at this though, the stages developed by Prochaska and DiClemente using kind of a qualitative analysis of some of the hardest kinds of changes people try to make, like exercise adherence, giving up alcohol, giving up stimulants, and so forth. And what they found was that analyzing all that data, that there did seem to be some stages that people go through, and that's what we're looking at right now. With pre-contemplation, and I've heard that a lot of clients are kind of pre-contemplative when they kind of come to you, or either you're visiting them. And this is when they're not considering change. Maybe they're not even there under, their own regard. Somebody else has forced them to be there. Could even be court ordered. So really, I'm just giving you kind of the simple list of what we're doing as counselors during that piece. But with pre-contemplation, we're wanting to get to know the person, and we're also wanting to just build rapport and show that we're not there to force or to give advice in any way, that they have the ownership of their change and of their life. And that just shows tremendous respect to clients, and then it's empowering to let them know that we respect their ability to change or not change. If a client's in contemplation, it can be helpful, just as it can in pre-contemplation, but in contemplation particularly, maybe a pro-con list, kind of looking at the pros and cons of changing, and giving them the power of making that decision after we do that. Here are the pros, here are the cons, where are you with this? So really kind of more of a reality therapy type of a stance. With preparation, people are actually, kind of got concrete plans to make some changes, and we can kind of help with goal setting during that stage. With action, that's typically considered from the starting point of change to about 6 months, and we can help build skills, maybe some relaxation training if they're, learning to be more assertive, and some mindfulness skills, some cognitive restructuring to deal with negative self-talk. Maybe even support groups and so forth to help with addiction or whatever it might be. And really person-centered therapy, so we want to give plenty of time to listen and process and reflect back what they've said so they understand that they've been heard and they can hear it from a different perspective. And then in maintenance, typically is 6 months past change and they're doing okay. They're maintaining these changes that they want, and so we're very person-centered. We want to process with them, listen. Active listening is healing, and it's probably the hardest thing to do because we all kind of want to give advice or give our own opinions and so forth. Reality therapy is another strategy during this, is helping them evaluate what's working and what's not, what needs to be changed, what doesn't, but it's their decision, it's not ours. And solution focus is like, hey, when they run into roadblocks, what's worked for you in the past? How have you helped yourself in similar situations in the past? So we're really drawing on client strengths throughout this process. So stage of change is just a critical thing to keep in mind when we are assessing and working with clients.